Hi there. In this exercise we are going to get used to something called costume changes. Costume changes occur when a sprite in a computer game wants to appear to be moving. Okay, so it's moving from one costume to another, which we can see in this example here of our cat inside this area here called the costumes. Now many of the computer games that we play, many of our characters have got hundreds of costumes, which we just take for granted as we play. But what we're going to do is learn how to program costumes through an animation sequence. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to delete our cat, and we are going to bring in a background. And I'm just going to choose, let's go to music and dance. And we'll just bring in this background here. Okay, and I'm going to choose a new sprite, and I'm going to choose my buddy 1080 hip hop. So as you can see, here is my character here, and I'm just going to shrink him down a little. Okay, in fact, I'm going to shrink him down so he fits nicely on top of the stage there at the back. Okay, so what we want him to do is we want him to appear to be dancing on top of that stage, but we don't want him to actually move anywhere. We just want him to change his costume. So if I click on the costumes tab here, you can see, and the reason why I chose this sprite is because he's got absolutely loads of different costumes, and it's our job as programmers to program him to change between all of these at a time. Okay, so to do that, we go back to our script because we need to build a script. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in my green flag, and what I want to do is when I press the green flag, I want my sprite to change his costume, and the code for costume changes is hidden inside the looks toolbox, because looks is the area where we change a sprite's appearance. And you can see in here we've got next costume. Okay, so if I press the green flag, every time I press it, you'll see that your sprite will change his costume. Problem is, you have to keep pressing the green button. But we don't want to do that. What we want to do is we want the computer to keep getting our sprite to change the costume here. And to do that, we're going to use this piece of code here, the forever loop. Okay, so whatever's inside this forever loop is going to happen again and again and again. So what I'm going to do now is pick up next costume. I'm going to place it inside forever. And as I connect it up, press the green flag, and this is the consequence. Now it does look a bit silly here because he's moving so fast, and if I click on costumes here, you can see how quickly the computer is processing my commands here. So if I press stop now, the computer is changing his costume hundreds of times per second. So what we need to do is tell the computer to slow down, and to do that, because it's a loop, the computer is going to do things in a certain order. So what I want it to do is I want it to wait for a second and change, and because it's a loop, it goes back to the top, wait 1 second, and change costume or next costume. So I press the green flag now, and it gives us a new dilemma. His costume changes are now too slow. So what you can do now then is click inside this box here and change it to a speed that you want. Remember, to make it speed up a bit, it needs to be smaller than a second. So if I try 0.5 seconds and press the green flag, you'll see that's a bit quicker. And if I put it half of that, even 0.25, a quarter of a second, you'll see now that our dancer now is moving quicker than that. And I might even change it to 0.1 just to make it that bit quicker. Okay, so there is my break dancer at the back there dancing away. Okay, so that is a really, really cool piece of code there, very, very important, and we actually use code similar to this when we're programming movement and combining that with costume changes too. So what I'm going to do now in the next couple of minutes now is I'm just going to bring in a couple of more sprites in here just to fill up my animation. So what I've done here is you can see underneath my stage here I've got two new sprites. There's no code in them though. Okay, you can see the blue box around my sprite here, which means that I want to code her now, but she's got no code in there. And I've got Cassie here, she has no code either. So I'm just going to quickly bring in the code that we've just done. Okay, and you'll see now that my other sprite has no code in. But so when you're using the same code over and over again, what you can actually do is if you follow my white arrow here, I'll pick up this block of code, follow my white arrow. You see my white arrow is just on top of my sprite here that has no code. I let go. It looks like nothing's happened. When I click on her now, you'll see that she does have code in it. So when I press the green flag now, she too is dancing as well, which is exactly what I want to do. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm just going to press stop here. Say we've got our sprites dancing away. Very, very happy with that. But a nice touch now would be bring in some music. So what I'm going to do here is click on the stage. And we're going to import music into our project. Just like when we create games, we import sound effects for certain elements of our games. Well, we're going to bring in a sound. So you click on the sounds tab, and you can see by default you have pop, but we don't need that. So I'm just going to delete pop. And we have a library here when we click on our speaker. And we have a nice category selection here. So I'm just going to choose music loops. And I'm going to choose Dance Celebrate. Now you can press play to play it. And then to import it, you double click on the speaker. But our key now is on the stage here, how do we program it? So remember, we go into events and we bring in a green flag, and we want to hear our music when the green flag is clicked. Now you have two options here. You have play sound, dance, celebrate, and play sound, dance, celebrate until done. And that means the until done bit means that if you have it inside a loop, like a forever loop, it will play the sound all the way through and then it will finish off. So I'm going to throw this one away. I'm going to pick this one up until done. I'm going to press the green flag. And you can see now my characters are dancing away there. So I press stop. And what you'll find is when the sound does finish, it just completely stops. But my dancers keep dancing. So what I'm going to do here is just to finish off that animation, I'm going to go to control and I'm just going to bring in stop all. And that's going to stop my entire animation after my music has finished. And you see there, just a nice way to finish it off. And there we go. So, thanks for watching.